So this video is for any parents out there that may be considering giving their child a cell phone, or maybe you've recently given your child a cell phone and you're just kind of winging it, kind of figuring it out as you go. It is a very scary moment. It's comparable to teaching them how to drive. At some point, it's just a part of life, and you're gonna hand those keys over, and you just hope they remember what was taught to them in class and what you taught them as parents. So again, that's what this moment really is. It's very scary, but it's also one of the best leadership opportunities that we will ever have as parents. That might sound kind of funny, but let me explain here. So when my wife and I gave our youngest her first cell phone at 14 years old, we could have just handed over the phone and rattled off a list of rules and said, obey these rules or else, right? But that's really kind of the easy button. It feels safer because we feel like we're in control. But if we do it that way, are we really teaching them much, right? We realized that in that moment that there was a better way, one that would help her long after that first cell phone was old and forgotten. So instead of just giving her a list of rules when we gave her the phone, we handed her a notebook and we said, hey, take this notebook, go in your room and write down your own rules and write down your own consequences if you were to break those rules. Now, this wasn't really about just letting her do whatever she wanted. It was about teaching her how to think and teaching her to take ownership and build her own healthy boundaries. So she did that. She went in her room and wrote down the rules, and when she brought it back, we didn't just read it and say yes or no. We actually sat down together and we talked through those rules and the consequences, and we asked her earnest questions like, why did you write down that rule? What are you trying to protect yourself from? What about this rule? What about that rule? Do you think we should do this? And what happens to you if you break those rules? Do you lose your phone? How long do you lose it for? Why do you think you should lose your phone? So some of those rules we adjusted. Some of the rules we left like she wrote them, exactly how she wrote them. So it really wasn't about control anymore. It was about collaboration. It was about teamwork. It wasn't about us forcing responsibility. It was about her learning to do this on her own and learning to think through this. And this is kind of where it just clicked for us, because when she now broke those rules, she's not breaking our rules. She's breaking her own rules, because at the end of the day, she made them, right? And that really changes everything. So that's when she started to learn about accountability. That's when she understood that her choices have consequences and that she is capable of leading herself. If we don't train them to handle that much freedom in a world, or in this world, that doesn't care about them the way we do, then are we really teaching them? Are we really leading them? So if you're about to hand over that first phone, try this. Don't just hand them a rule book, hand them a notebook. Let them write down the first draft, then sit down, ask the hard questions, ask the earnest questions, and build this system together. That one little small shift from control to ownership can change everything. It builds maturity, it can build respect, it builds trust, and again, it teaches them to lead themselves. And look, her mom and I don't claim to have all the answers. We didn't figure this out. We all made mistakes even through this process. We were just figuring it out just like every other parent. But this really worked. I really look back at this and think that this was a victory. And maybe it'll work for you. So what did you try? If you've already done this and it worked, something didn't, feel free to share it with all of us in the comments.